Uh, Today is December 3rd, 2019. My name is Tony Mihigo, and I'm a student in the Bachelor of Arts program with College for America at Southern New Hampshire University, and I'm conducting this interview as part of my academic work. With your consent, I will record this interview and use the information in a government and youth deliverable I'm working on for a Contribute to Society project. The interview will be used to create the government and youth deliverable and submitted to College for America so that my project can be evaluated. This recording will be used solely for this purpose. The interview information will be temporarily stored in the College for America online evaluation system, to which only the evaluator and College for America staff will have access. Do you have any questions? Do you give your consent to be interviewed and recorded? Then read the following statement.
I, Cedric Shine, give my informed consent to participate in this interview to be recorded and used as part of the students' academic work.
Thank you very much. Now I'm
Junior Nyong'o, give my informed consent to participate in this interview to be recorded and used as part of the students' academic work.
Okay. Thank you very much. Hi, my name is Tony Mihigo, and I'm working on a project which is called Government and You, under the goal which is called Contribute to Society. So I'm going to talk more about the street interview that I've had with different people about the questions, the three questions, basically, which talk about the branches of government, the political parties in the US, and how the bills become a law. So I'm going to compare the results I got from the street interview and the actual facts that answered to the questions. So first question that I asked was, what are the three branches of government and what do they do?
So my knowledge, I think that there is legislative, executive, and judiciary.
Okay, the branches of government are the legislative, executive, and judiciary.
Very good. The answers I got from the interview is that the first respondent says that there are three branches of government: the executive, judicial, and legislative. And that was also the same answer to the second respondent. And that's actually true. There are three branches of government, as they said: legislative, executive, and judicial branch. Now, going to the second question, I asked them what does each branch do. Can you tell me what does each branch do?
I don't have knowledge about that.
Okay.
If I remember well, the judiciary is about making the laws, and the executive is the administration.
Okay. The first respondent did not know what those branches do. The second respondent tried to answer. He said that the judicial branch makes laws. He also said that the executive branch is about administrative. So even though he did not provide clear example answers, I'm going to give them in full details. So basically, legislative branch has the primary power to make the country's laws. So every law that is followed in the country has been made by the legislative branch. Legislative branch also is composed by two main parts: the House of Representatives and Senate. Among other roles that it holds, it also can declare wars, it includes the country's budget, and members of Congress. The people who are divided in those two houses, as I said, of House of Representatives and Senate, are elected by citizens of the United States. The second branch, which is executive branch, so the executive branch has the power to put into action or to implement the laws of the country. It is headed by the president, who is the commander-in-chief of armed forces. It also has vice president, cabinet, various other federal agencies, commissions, and committees. As I said, the president is the head of the branch and he's voted through the electoral college system. Among the functions of the president is that he signs or vetoes legislations, he carries out the nation's foreign policy, and he conducts diplomacy with other countries. Going to the last branch, which is the judicial branch. So the judicial branch has the power to apply and interpret laws through Supreme Court, as is determined by the US Constitution. So the Supreme Court and other inferior courts determine the constitutionality of executive and legislative acts. So all these three branches are connected because the Congress or the legislative branch makes laws, executive branch, which is headed by the president, implements those laws, and the judicial branch ensures that the implementation and functionality of the other branches are aligned with the Constitution. So also these three branches regulate each other through what we call checks and balances. So this is done to ensure that all three branches of government remain in balance and democracy is preserved. So each branch has the power to check other two branches. For example, the president nominates federal officials, but the Senate or the legislative branch has to confirm those nominations. Also, once the Congress has passed a bill, the president has the power to veto that bill or to refuse to sign it, and in turn, Congress can override a regular presidential veto by a 2/3 of vote of both houses. The other way that there is checks and balances is that the Supreme Court and other federal courts can declare laws or presidential actions unconstitutional. Congress also can impeach or remove to power both members of the executive and judicial branches. Also, the president checks the judiciary through the power of appointment, where he can appoint judges who are from the same party as him. So going to the second question, which asks, Democrats and Republicans are the major parties. Can you name a third party?
Can you name a third party? There is Green Party. Green Party.
Third party is Marijuana Party.
Okay. So from the answers I got from from the answers I got from the respondents in the interview, the first respondent said that there is Green Party. The second respondent said that there is Marijuana Party. So to give a concise answer, actually there are many other minor parties I can say, which are like Libertarian Party, the Green Party, Constitution Party, Tea Party, but all those are minor parties. Now, in the US, there is a two-party system where two main major parties, Democrats and Republicans, are the main parties in the US. So this two-party system is a political system in which the electorate gives its votes largely to only two major parties, and in which one or the other party can win a majority in the legislature. So in the US, there are two main political parties, the Democratic and Republican Party. And these two political parties have won every United States presidential election since 1852 and control the United States Congress since 1856. So you might ask yourself, how did these two party systems start? So the first party system featured the Federalist Party and the Democratic Republican Party, or Anti-Federalist Party. So in 1829, there was a split of the Democratic Republican Party into the Jacksonian Democrats, who grew into modern Democratic Party and the Whig Party. So this stretched from 1854 to mid-1890s, where there was a birth of anti-slavery Republican Party. And from 1896 to 1932, This period corresponded to the Progressive Era, which was dominated by the Republican Party. In the fifth party system, this emerged with the New Deal coalition beginning in 1933, where the Republicans began losing the support after the Great Depression of 1930s, giving rise to Democrats. And after that, the Republicans have bounced back. So I can say that since 1930s, the Democrats positioned themselves more towards liberalism, while conservatives increasingly dominated the Republican Party. So even though there are these two main major parties, there are also minor parties that can say that have impact on national politics. So although these minor political parties play a much smaller role in the country's political and elections, this is also manifested through the small numbers of votes in elections and low recognition these minor parties get in the US. However, they have a reputation of upsetting or shocking the major parties during elections. So they can influence the platforms of the major parties or take the voters away who might otherwise vote for the big parties. So as I said, these small minor parties in the US are Libertarian Party, Green Party, Constitution Party, and Tea Party. Now, going to the last question, which asks, what is the basic process by which a bill becomes a law? So my respondents on the interview were confused by this question as they didn't have a concrete answer to it. In fact, the first respondent did not know any process of turning a bill into a law, and the second respondent tried, though he did not give correct answer, because he said that the judicial branch drafts laws and then the president signs them. So to provide a correct answer, so there are different processes or steps that a bill passes to in order to become a law. So the first process is that first of all, the House of Representatives has the main important job of creating laws. So every laws are introduced in the House of Representatives, and all laws begin as bills, and they have to be approved by House of Representatives, the Senate, and then the President for them to become laws. So firstly, the bill or the legislation begins as an idea, and anyone like a citizen, a president, or representative can come up with the idea. However, the representative has the ability to write the idea into a bill. After a bill is drafted, the bill is introduced, and then it needs a sponsor. So the representative lobbies to other representatives about the bill in hopes of getting their support for it. So after that, the bill is ready to be introduced after it has generated a sponsor and the support of some of the representatives. And then in the House of Representatives, representatives introduce bills by placing them on the side of the clerk's side, which is called the hopper. And then the bill is then read to all representatives, and the Speaker of the House sends it to one of the House standing committees. So the bill has to go to the committee. So the committees are groups of representatives who are experts on topics such as agriculture, war, education, and laws, and they review, research, and revise the bill before voting on whether or not to send the bill back to the House floor. So if the committee would like more information on the bill, it is sent to a subcommittee, where in the subcommittee the bill is closely reviewed and the expert opinions are gathered before it is sent back to the committee for the approval. So after that, the bill is reported. When the committee has approved the bill, it is reported to the House floor, where it is ready to be debated by the House of Representatives. So the bill is debated by the House of Representatives, where they discuss it and explain why they agree or disagree with it. Then a reading clerk reads the bill section by section, and the representative recommend changes Then the bill is ready to be voted on when all changes have been made. So the following step is voting the bill. So the bill is voted in the House of Representatives to determine those who support or oppose the bill. The majority of the representatives support it. The bill passes in the US House of Representatives, where it is certified and delivered to the US Senate. So the bill is referred to the US Senate after that, where it reaches the Senate and goes to the same process it went through the House of Representatives. And then it is discussed in a Senate committee and then reported to the Senate floor to be voted on. If the majority of Senate say yes, the bill passes in the US Senate and it is ready to go to the President. So when the bill reaches to the President, three things can happen. So the first thing is that he can sign the bill. He can sign and pass the bill, where the bill becomes a law, or he can refuse to sign, which is called veto the bill. So if he vetoes the bill is sent back to the House of Representatives. But if the House of Representatives and Senate still support the bill and vote it by 2/3, then the veto of the President is overridden and the bill becomes a law. In the third scenario, so the President can refuse to do anything about the bill, and if the Congress is in session, the bill automatically becomes a law after 10 days. However, if Congress is not in session, the bill does not become a law. So the last step is that the bill becomes a law if it has passed in both the US House of Representatives and the US Senate and has been approved by the President, or if a presidential veto has been overridden, then the bill becomes a law and it is enforced by the government. So thank you very much. In this video, we looked at three branches of government, the major political parties in the US, and the process by which a bill becomes a law. Have a great time.